At the 9 dimensions of consciousness, opening before time, before form, before the first thought was ever conceived, there was you, not the you known by name, but the silent witness behind all existence. There is a silent force beneath all reality, a map hidden not in the stars, but within you. 9 dimensions of consciousness, 9 realms where your soul lives, moves, and remembers, each more profound, more real than the last. From the moment of birth, the human heart carries an ancient knowing. Human life unfolds within a single frame, a narrow spectrum, called the 3rd dimension, a world of matter, space, and time. But beyond this fragile veil lies a vast architecture of consciousness. Where's the cosmic matrix? The universe operates upon a structure far more intricate than the physical laws, commonly understood by human science. Beneath the surface of what is seen and touched lies a hidden architecture, a living blueprint of dimensional layers that hold reality together. At the heart of this architecture is the cosmic matrix, a multidimensional web that interconnects all forms of consciousness. This matrix functions as an energetic lattice, an unseen scaffolding that holds the structure of existence in place. Every point within this matrix vibrates with unique frequencies, and these frequencies correspond directly to levels or dimensions of consciousness. The dimensions are not stacked like floors of a building, nor are they distant galaxies or separate worlds. Instead, they are interwoven fields of reality, layered within the same space, much like light passing through different filters. Human perception, limited by the sensory organs and the mind's conditioning, usually tunes into only one dimension at a time. However, all dimensions exist simultaneously and eternally in the same omnipresent space. Each dimension carries its own vibrational signature, and this vibration dictates the form and nature of everything that exists within it. The lower dimensions operate with slower, denser frequencies, which is why they manifest as tangible matter or primal energies. The higher dimensions resonate with increasingly refined vibrations, transcending the limits of form, time, and identity. These are realms of pure energy, intention, and consciousness. The multidimensional human. One of the most profound truths, concealed from common knowledge, is that human beings are not confined to the 3rd dimension. Human consciousness extends tentacles into multiple dimensions at once, even if most people remain unaware of this connection. The soul itself is a multidimensional entity, with parts of its awareness anchored in higher realms far beyond ordinary perception. What appears as intuition déjà vu, or sudden insight, is often the soul's higher dimensional awareness, bleeding into the conscious mind. The interconnection of dimensions follows a fractal holographic pattern, a universal design where each part reflects the whole. In a fractal hologram, the smallest fragment of reality contains the blueprint of the entire cosmos. This means that within every atom, every thought, and every heartbeat exists a mirror of all creation. Dimensions, therefore, are not separate lines drawn across the universe. They are reflected within every aspect of life, waiting to be awakened by conscious awareness. The hidden layers. The human energy field itself contains encoded access points, often called anchor points, that resonate with various dimensions. These are subtle energy centers beyond the commonly known chakras. When these points activate, they allow consciousness to harmonize with higher dimensional frequencies, resulting in expanded perception, heightened awareness, and profound spiritual experiences. One of the most hidden aspects of this dimensional structure involves the forbidden knowledge of the intermediary dimensions, particularly those concealed between the 3rd and the 5th. While most teachings speak of a linear progression from the 3rd to the 4th and then to the 5th dimension, ancient esoteric texts mention 3 hidden layers within this passage. These layers serve as transitional zones, realms of integration and purification, fields for the soul's consciousness. They are not commonly discussed because they are difficult to access and even harder to interpret. These intermediary dimensions often appear in human experience as strange moments of timelessness, sudden emotional surges with no clear origin, or encounters with beings and energies that defy explanation. The ancient texts referred to these layers as the veiled spheres, zones designed to test the resonance of a soul before allowing it passage into the higher dimensions of unified consciousness. The lower dimensions, descent into form. The human soul exists within a vast spectrum of consciousness that spans multiple dimensions, each carrying unique frequencies and laws of existence. The first 6 dimensions represent the journey of the soul's descent from pure potential into manifested form. Of the first dimension, atomic awareness. The first dimension is the realm of atomic awareness and the primal intelligence of matter. In this dimension, consciousness exists within the tiniest particles that make up the physical universe: atoms, subatomic particles, and the raw elements of creation. Contrary to modern belief, these particles are not lifeless. They possess a form of elemental awareness, a silent intelligence that responds to intention and universal order. This dimension forms the bedrock of all existence, providing the structural foundation upon which higher forms of life build. The first dimension represents the unspoken memory of creation encoded within the material world. It holds the primal resonance of I exist and the first whisper of awareness in the vast field of potential. The second dimension, elemental consciousness. The second dimension introduces the living memory of the earth and the elemental kingdoms. This dimension carries the consciousness of minerals, plants, fungi, and the elemental forces such as earth, water, fire, and air. These life forms and forces operate on a collective awareness, expressing themselves through patterns of growth, movement, and natural cycles. In the second dimension, intelligence flows through instinctual harmony rather than individual thought. The elemental consciousness serves as silent architects of nature, maintaining balance, regeneration, and ecological memory. Human beings are deeply connected to this dimension through the body's cellular intelligence and the instinctual drives inherited from nature. The second dimension speaks through the language of intuition, bodily sensations, and subtle energetic impressions that often go unnoticed in modern life. For the third dimension, individual awareness. The third dimension marks the emergence of self-awareness, individuality, and the illusion of separation. This is the realm where human consciousness predominantly operates. Within the third dimension, life unfolds under the laws of linear time, cause and effect, and duality. Here, the experience of I am separate dominates the perception of reality. The ego, identity, and personal narrative are born within this layer, creating the sense of a distinct self navigating a world of others. Although the third dimension often feels heavy and restrictive, it serves as a critical arena for learning, growth, and the exercise of free will. The perceived limitations of this dimension provide the pressure required for the soul to evolve and seek higher understanding. However, many remain trapped in its cycles of fear, competition, and survival, unaware that it is merely one layer of a much vaster existence. First, the fourth dimension, the astral bridge. The fourth dimension opens the gates to the astral realms, the collective unconscious, and the plane of emotional resonance, often called the dream time. The fourth dimension is where thoughts, feelings, and desires take on energetic form. This is the realm of imagination, dreams, subconscious memories, and emotional patterns that echo across time. The fourth dimension serves as a bridge between the material world and higher realities. In this space, time becomes fluid and consciousness can travel beyond the linear constraints of the physical world. However, the fourth dimension also houses unresolved energies, shadow aspects, and astral entities that feed on emotional vibrations. Many spiritual seekers become entangled in this dimension, mistaking its illusions for true higher wisdom. The fourth dimension teaches the importance of emotional mastery and the power of focused intention. It challenges the soul to discern illusion from truth and to purify the heart before moving forward on the path of higher consciousness. The fifth dimension, unity consciousness. The fifth dimension represents the threshold where unity consciousness awakens and duality begins to dissolve. In this dimension, the soul steps beyond the illusion of separation and begins to experience oneness with all life. The fifth dimension vibrates with frequencies of unconditional love, compassion, and non-judgment. Here, the heart serves as the central intelligence, guiding perception and action from a place of innate knowing. The experience of time in the fifth dimension shifts into the eternal now, where past, present, and future coalesce into a single unfolding moment. The fifth dimension is not a destination but a state of being that transcends fear, competition, and the need for control. While in this state, individuals often experience profound peace, deep empathy, and a connection to higher wisdom. Accessing the fifth dimension requires the surrender of egoic attachments and the willingness to live in alignment with the heart's truth. On the sixth dimension, sacred geometry. The sixth dimension unveils the realm of sacred geometry, archetypal intelligence, and the blueprints of reality. This dimension operates on the principle that all forms and structures in the universe arise from geometric codes and patterns. In the sixth dimension, consciousness interacts with the templates that shape existence across all planes. These templates are not static, but living patterns that carry the intention of creation itself. Mystics and ancient architects referred to this realm as the mind of God, a dimension where mathematical precision and spiritual purpose intertwine. The sixth dimension holds the master codes for biological life, planetary systems, and even soul structures. Access to this dimension grants the ability to perceive the hidden patterns behind events, relationships, and phenomena in the material world. It also allows for the conscious co-creation of reality through alignment with universal patterns. Core the higher dimensions, return to source. Beyond the sixth dimension, the soul enters realms so subtle and refined that human language struggles to describe them fully. These higher three dimensions, the seventh, eighth, and ninth, represent stages of consciousness where individuality dissolves into collective awareness, and where the soul reconnects with its origin beyond space, time, and form. Unlike the lower dimensions, which involve varying degrees of separation, learning, and experience, the higher dimensions embody unity, pure intelligence, and source awareness. They are not places but profound states of being that exist both within and beyond the human experience. The seventh dimension, the Oversoul. The seventh dimension is often described as the realm of the Oversoul, or the collective soul matrix. In this dimension, individual souls recognize themselves as part of a vast web of interconnected consciousness known as the Oversoul. This Oversoul is not a collection of personalities, but a single field of intelligence expressing itself through countless incarnations, timelines, and realities. The seventh dimension holds the original purpose of every soul, encoded within the Oversoul's greater design. Here the soul remembers why it chose its particular experiences, lessons, and even its limitations. The seventh dimension transcends personal identity and moves into a state of shared knowing where the boundaries between self and other dissolve completely. In this field, the soul experiences profound unity with all beings that share its Oversoul lineage. This dimension is also known as the keeper of the Akashic blueprints, vibrational records that hold the original design and potential of every soul in reality. While glimpses of the seventh dimension may come during deep meditation or near-death experiences, true alignment with this dimension requires surrendering the need for individual importance and embracing the vast interconnected web of life. We're at the eighth dimension, the light architects. The eighth dimension is known as the domain of the light architects, or the galactic mind. This is a realm where consciousness operates on the level of creation itself, weaving the structures of universes, star systems, and entire civilizations. The beings or intelligences operating from the eighth dimension do not possess form as humans understand it. Instead, they exist as pure streams of creative intelligence, functioning in service to the universal order. These architects encode the patterns that govern cosmic evolution, designing the energetic frameworks within which entire realities unfold. The eighth dimension represents the field where the collective Oversoul consciousness begins to merge with the creative intelligence of the universe. It is a state of being where the soul not only understands the patterns of existence, but participates consciously in their design. Accessing this dimension allows a being to influence reality at the structural level, aligning with universal laws in ways that transcend magic, ritual, or intention as commonly understood. While direct experience of the eighth dimension is rare, its influence can be felt when individuals experience sudden insights about the grand design of existence, or when they feel an inexplicable calling to contribute to the evolution of humanity or the planet. From the ninth dimension, the source field. The ninth dimension stands as the source field, the womb of all potential and the silent observer behind all existence. This dimension contains no form, no identity, and no separation. It is the pure field of awareness from which all dimensions arise and into which all return. In the ninth dimension, there is no creation, no movement, and no thought. There is only the silent, formless presence of Source. This is the realm beyond experience where consciousness rests in its purest state, unborn, undying, and unchanging. The ninth dimension cannot be grasped by the mind or accessed through effort. It reveals itself only when all striving ceases and the soul surrenders completely to the present moment. Those who have touched even a fragment of this dimension often describe it as a state of profound peace beyond love, beyond light, and beyond understanding. It is the place where all questions dissolve and only silent presence remains. The ninth dimension does not give visions, messages, or signs. Instead, it opens a stillness so complete that the soul remembers its eternal essence, beyond all forms and identities. Though closing, the journey through these 9 dimensions is not a path to be traveled, but a remembering of what you already are. Each dimension exists within you now, waiting to be recognized, experienced, and integrated. The map is not in the stars. It is written in the very fabric of your being. As you awaken to these deeper layers of reality, you begin to understand that you are not merely a human having a spiritual experience, but a multidimensional being temporarily focused through the lens of physical form. The dimensions are not destinations to reach, but aspects of your own infinite nature to be embraced. The silent witness that was before time, before form, before the first thought, that is you. That has always been you, and that will always be you. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of consciousness. If this resonated with you, please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.